Hey there, how's it going? I just wanted to talk through this project that I'm working on. It's just a Hello World Go project. It has some CI/CD tests, and I just wanted to create a little bit of a playground so that I could mess around with Dagger and try to understand where it fits in for CI/CD. And if you're not familiar with Dagger, it's got some interesting things going on right now, specifically with their AI agents. They've been around for a few years, and they have an interesting approach to CI/CD and how they work with GitHub Actions. You can take a look at essentially how it works in the workflows. Sorry, not workflows. It would be here, workflows, and then ci.yaml. You can kind of get rid of all the steps and replace it with one Dagger function. All your Dagger code lives inside in this case, I have it under my main.go project, and so we have different functions for doing different things. Pretty straightforward. I can open up my terminal here, and let me just create a new one. And I can do Dagger call test source, and so this will run all of my unit tests, and it tells me I have a 63% coverage. Now what's interesting is as I was learning about Dagger, and it has a whole GraphQL backend behind it, and so the Dagger API, you can call the Dagger API with GraphQL. So then I started thinking about it. Could I expose that GraphQL and start working with it via GraphQL Explorer? From my experience looking into GraphQL, it's a little bit easier to dig in via GraphQL Explorer. And so what I was then able to do is I was able to figure out that I can start up a GraphQL server in Dagger via this, the Dagger session token foo Dagger listen allow cores, and then listen on this port. And so from here, what's interesting is now I have a GraphQL server listening at this query, and I can open up Altair, and I can actually execute. I can see all the docs. I can introspecs, but I could get the source directory, and then from here I could actually use this output string to run the Dagger tests, and let's see here, I should be able to run this, and then see I can actually run the Dagger tests, my custom function, and get the response here. Now what I also started to look into is Apollo, known for Apollo GraphQL, and they've got some great clients and servers, and so they have a new project called Apollo MCP Server, and I started following this quick start guide, and I was wondering if I could expose the Dagger GraphQL server via MCP. And so the way that I could do that is that I first had to I exported my schema.graphql, and so you can introspect via, let's see here. So yeah, here I can output my schema to a GraphQL file, and so that's your schema.graphql here. So this is the entire schema that Dagger allows you to introspect. And then I can create the supergraph.yaml file, which points to the GraphQL server, and then the schema file that I'm going to use. And then the trick was also to create this router.yaml file so that I could pass along the authorization headers, because I don't know if you saw in my previous, when I start up the Dagger session, I pass in foo, and this actually, you end up using this as the username when accessing the GraphQL server. You have to do a base64 encoding on that. And so following the instructions here for the quick start, I was basically able to get to this command, which now I have the Apollo GraphQL MCP server running, and from here I was able to connect it to Claude Desktop via npx MCP remote, and I can do some interesting things here as well. So if I do a new chat, and I can see in here that I have Dagger selected, I'm going to go ahead and, so file system is disabled. I'm going to disable playwright just in case as well. And then please use the Dagger MCP to run the test function and let me know how much code coverage I have. And so now I can use natural language and see if it'll find it. So have access to tool Dagger MCP. Interesting. Let's try this again. So please try to access the Dagger MCP and tell me what tools you have available. Interesting. I'm going to just try to quit and restart here. Claude. Promise this worked a little bit ago. Alright, so Dagger is saying that it's there. The tools are there. Please use the Dagger execute MCP tool and run the test function and report back the code coverage. Let's see if this works. Here we go. Okay, so first it's going to do an introspect, which is essentially building the schema.graphql, returning it. So now it can find the Hello Go project because that was outputted in the schema.graphql, and then it needs to provide the proper directory ID, which it should be able to get here, and now it'll run the function with the directory ID. So let's see if it actually gets here eventually. Looks like good. This is a Go project. So it's using the current directory path, which it should. Okay, now it's using the correct directory ID. Alright, so it looks like a test. It ran it. Code coverage at 63.4%. So this is pretty cool. We've now leveraged Apollo GraphQL MCP server with natural language to run a custom Dagger function in my project. So yeah, thanks for watching.